Interesting, from the Manchester United captain. Paul, he says that was a proper performance. So go back to Monday and today. What's the difference for you? Why so much better today?
I think personnel makes a big difference. I think the middle of the pitch is always an important. I'm not just saying because I played in there, but I always think it's the most important area of the pitch. And on Monday, obviously, wasn't right. We knew before the game, looking at the team we picked, it was never going to cope with the energy of Newcastle. Today, we knew we had half a chance with Agati and Mainu. And I actually think Casemiro and Eriksen could probably play with Agati as well. I don't think, you don't just rule them out, just playing them together. It's a no-no. He mentioned effort there, didn't he, a lot? Effort in the smaller games that they can't seem to get themselves up for them games for some reason. I don't know why, but I think he's right. That was a proper performance today. To go to Anfield and go toe-to-toe with the best team. As I say, they beat Manchester City, who have been the best team for 4 or 5 years. But that performance was nothing like this. This was better. And I know they didn't win the game like they did at City, but I take more out of that performance than actually winning against the champions. I think now, as he said, that's a blueprint. That's the way they have to go forward. They have to follow it up now. That's the standard, as he said. But I think the manager, by now, he should know all his players. I think he's chopped and changed so much. I think now there's a...
Is that pretty close to you what you think is available, his best team today?
Yeah, it has to be. Who else can come into that? Luke Shaw, if he's possibly fit. Euro to right outside centre-half. Garnacho possibly, but not quite. I don't think he gets into it. But
so then, do you want to see him continue, fitness permitting, with that sort of 9 or 10 of that 11 we've seen today for a consistent period?
If them 11 are fit, they have to play until players perform badly and they don't get into the team. Yeah, exactly. Now that is a standard that they've set. That's the standard that they've got to reach in games to come, and I don't see any reason why they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, games to come will be different. Of course, as Scholes, you mentioned, that's as good as it gets from an opponent's point of view. You're playing against one of the best teams in the world in Liverpool, in their backyard. That's as tough a test as it comes. Bruno Fernandes mentioned Southampton. When you're playing these teams, exactly, you're going to have much more of the ball this time. It's a totally different game to what it is today. Today is getting up against it, being brave, taking the ball, taking the sting out of the game.
But the effort levels is what Paul's talking about, isn't it? That we haven't always seen in those Bournemouths at home when they've been losing, Wolves, etc.
Yeah, it's dangerous to go down the effort route, I think. Quality of play, yes.
He went down that route himself, didn't he?
He did. He said we've got to keep them. We've got to keep those levels. But I never heard him say we don't try against other teams. It's.
No, but I think he was hinting that Liverpool away, you're obviously up for it more than perhaps Southampton at home.
It's a different game. I find it hard to believe that a team that have won nothing for a good while. Okay, they won a cup last year, but they're not a winning machine at the moment. I find it hard to believe that they can have their ups and downs in terms of, we'll turn it on in this game and not in others. I think the opponent has a massive influence, not on how much you try, it's just the way the game unfolds and the demands of that game. But the quality and the personnel, as Paul says, that changes from game to game. And now they're playing Southampton next, let's say, or the next league game. That's a totally different kettle of fish to going away to Anfield. Now you're on the front foot. Now you've got to try to open a team up and maybe take risks and maybe leave holes in behind as well. So it's a different kettle of fish. But on today, which we're focusing on, they were very, very good. And that's 2 big results against 2 big teams in the space of a month.
And they took the lead. Martinez's second ever goal for Manchester United. I mean, he hammered this home, didn't he, when Liverpool had possession of the ball?
Yeah, he was on the front foot straight away. He gets in front of Salah. Salah might be just a little bit disappointed. Watch Trent's defending here. He had a poor afternoon, and look at that is non-existent. What he's thinking of, I don't know. And Martinez, from being in that front foot position, he carries on. He moves on with the move and keeps going, and it's a brilliant finish for a left-sided centre half. He hits it so hard. He's not really thinking about much. He's just thinking, I'm putting my foot through this, as probably any centre half normally would do, and it ends up going in perfectly above Alisson.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, I thought, what's he doing in this position? But as we saw there, Trent's ball to Mo Salah. I thought Mo Salah could have done a little bit more. What can Trent do in that situation? He can only sort of feed it into his feet, and Mo was slightly caught on heels. Martinez then obviously nipped in and stayed forward. And then, as Scholesy said, Trent's closing down. Well, it wasn't closing down, was it? It was standing still. It was non-event. It was awful. And then he only reacted when Martinez had broke through, and it was a great finish, but frustrating, I would have thought, for a Liverpool manager with Trent's performance and Trent's effort in that goal.
Now, talking of effort, we know for a fact that Arne Slot was preparing 2 substitutes 6 minutes later, and one of those players coming off was Cody Gakpo the next time the ball went out of play, but he did this.
Yeah, he changed his mind a little. What a goal, by the way. I mean, fantastic goal. Possibly could have been prevented.
In what way?
Well, I think Ugarte leaves a position that he's in the perfect position, and he vacates it. He clears the ball there. We highlighted him here. I don't know why he then... Mainu's already got, Gravenberch in the middle. I don't know why he vacates that area and allows Gakpo to do that. Then after that, it's pure brilliance. I mean, faking to shoot with your left foot, cutting inside and whipping it into the top corner. And their reaction was a really positive one as well for me. You can just see what's going on in their mind, and there was no celebration. All of them ran straight back to the halfway. Let's get this game started again. Because obviously a draw, in their mind, was a poor result. So that reaction was impressive as well, but the goal was super impressive.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Ugarte, when you're a central midfield player, you don't like being in them wide areas. He's thinking, get me back to the middle of that pitch, get me over there.
Is that what it is?
I'd presume so, yeah. And he does see a little bit of danger, I suppose. He don't want the lad going forward having a shot, and he vacates that area. But look at him there, he's saying, get me in the middle of that pitch. I do not want to be out here. And you can understand Delic not diving in, but he's trying to stop the cross. But you've got to give Gakpo really big credit. It's a fantastic bit of skill, and the finish is brilliant.
Oh, I mean, it's a similar position in a way than Højlund was in the first half. Obviously, a few more bodies in them, but that's the difference between being on your right foot. When you're on the right foot and you're coming in, you can set the ball out wide, you can set it and curl it and keep it away from the goalkeeper. Being on your left foot in that area, and that's the beauty of this position nowadays. It never used to be like that, but now you always have a right footer on the left, a left footer on the right, and you cut in and you curl it into the far corner. We
expect that level of performance from Manchester United? I'm not sure. Put that performance in context, Roy.
Well, obviously a surprise to me. I said before the game, I just looked at the whole team. I looked at their performances recently, the lack of goals.
You gave them no chance?
Yeah, I did.
So what was different?
What Bruno just said there, they turned up. He said they showed a bit of passion. But obviously the argument to all of this stuff, and I don't want to take away from United today, is to do that in the other games. They've done it at City recently. You can't just pick and choose when you want to turn up for a game at Man United and have passion today, and it's typical questions asking the player after a match, going, well, how come you can't do it week in, week out? He's just a player himself. But when you're a senior player, the key is to turn up for every game with that passion and that quality. And they showed the quality today. And I don't think anyone would have predicted Man United probably certainly scoring 2 goals today and nearly won it at the end. Liverpool had their chances, of course they did, and I'll take my hat off to United today. They showed a bit of passion, lots of quality, a bit of fight, and they kind of showed what playing for Man United is all about. But the key is, obviously, they've got to back it up. They've got to back it up. And the next week, obviously, the Arsenal in the Cup next, they've got to turn up with the same attitude, the same level of performance, the same fighting spirit, and then you've got a chance of winning matches.
Do you think they surprised Liverpool with their level today?
Yes, but when I listened to Arne Slot's interview before the game, he said they've got the players and they've got the talent in the squad, but the performances haven't, garnered the results. And today, I think they've shown their true colours, maybe in terms of the manager's system and how they played it, and they showed a lot of fight, they showed a lot of composure on the ball, and that's been lacking in recent weeks, of course. So I think they performed to a level where the manager can be proud, the players can be proud of themselves to say, look, like Bruno said in his interview, this is what we can be. But in turn, you have to do that every single week. You can't pick and choose against the bigger teams. You say, okay, all eyes are on us today, lads. We're going to perform and give our best games. But when you're playing against the lesser teams, when you're expected to get the results and you're expected to create things, and they don't respect you or you don't respect them as much. That's when you got to put those teams away.
And United should come up with. I hope the message coming out from United over the next few days is also that, listen, we actually still have that belief. I know the manager spoke before the game about they're anxious and they're nervous, but the players have to come up with a message. We still believe we can turn in them type of performances. We have seen them before. The problem is they don't do it week in, week out. Far from it. They're very inconsistent. You should look at the league table and the goals against. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. But the players, you ask for honesty from your group of players, but I don't think this group of players are honest. Because if you're not putting in a performance week in, week out, there's something obviously amiss. But I think they have a chance the next few days to also play it cool. Everyone will be criticising Liverpool now, but Liverpool also, no need to panic from Liverpool's point of view. It's another point, it's another game, and listen, they could have won it themselves. But United shouldn't get too excited. As a Man United player, coming to certain stadiums and getting results, like against Man City, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and also send that message going, listen, there's still a bit of trust amongst us that we can get results.
Well, I suppose the first question United had to answer, could they get through the first half unscathed, which is what they did. All the goals came in the second period. And the next question, could they actually then break Liverpool down? How did they do that, Roy?
By taking them opportunities, and obviously by pressing and good play. And we see here, Martinez obviously getting it high up the pitch, and Bruno, we know Bruno's quality. Liverpool's defending it, they lack that little bit of intensity. Martinez, nice little side ball, and you're thinking, can you finish? Gary mentioned Giggsy's. Listen, brilliant finish into the roof of the net. Trent's probably could have done better there, but Liverpool just lack that intensity for these few seconds. You can't switch off. Look, they're just passive, they're all watching each other. Look at Bruno, look at Trent, make a tackle. Far too easy, but brilliant finish. And United, happy days, they couldn't believe it. Great reaction.
Finish was outstanding, to be fair. I didn't like the Ryan Giggs shout though, because he only beat about 9 players for his goal. But I mean, it was a fantastic finish. To do that as a defender as well, like the power on it.
Do you think that's what he's just concentrating on in this position?
For sure. And I think when you got that time to think what you're going to do, it's almost like, some players, snatch at it or whatever it may be, but the concentration he showed as a defender as well. I mean, I'm saying defenders can't score goals, but that's an absolutely top draw finish.
Are you thinking if you hit through this flush, you're beating most keepers, whether they are world class or not?
Yeah, I think the modern players, the power and the balls, I think if you do get great connection on like you did, it is very difficult to stop.
But it sparked something in Liverpool as well. That lead for Manchester United, as joyous as it was for them in that moment, lasted just 7 minutes, Daniel.
It sure did, yeah. And I think, in these moments, as Man United, you want to try and now gain a bit of control and calm yourselves down. But you see here, the ball from McAllister was brilliant, and De Ligt is sliding in there. He's going up against his teammate.
2-2 it finishes between Liverpool and Manchester United, the game that came so close to being called off because of the snow, and what a game it turned out to be. It's a point that leaves Liverpool still 6 points clear at the top of the Premier League table, and one that boosts Manchester United to 13th place in the table. But I mean, it was such an entertaining game, wasn't it? Especially if you're a neutral fan. If you'd said to Manchester United fans going into this, you could get a point before it even starts, they would have probably jumped at it. But then walking away from Anfield, Grella, maybe some of them would even feel disappointed, because if that Harry Maguire chance went in at the end, it'd be a completely different story.
That's the biggest one because it's the freshest one, but there was one in the beginning of the game as well from Diallo, and they had so many opportunities. And this is what I said a few weeks ago about Amorim, is that yes, you have a project. Yes, you need time. Yes, you need transfer window. You need your player. You need a lot of things. But you get the players, you get the fan base, you get everyone bought in from results like this. You win against Man City. You could have won tonight. There was opportunities to win tonight. For not a couple crazy moments from De Ligt, they probably can get a result from tonight. And so I think this was a step in the right direction for Manchester United, a really big performance character-wise as well. And on the flip side, I think it was one of the most sloppy Liverpool performances we've seen in the season so far.
Yeah, I think Manchester United got everything right in the first half for me. They really frustrated Liverpool when you look at opportunities in that first half. Rasmus Højlund had a real good chance where I felt that he should have scored. Alisson made a save, but for a striker of the calibre of what you need to be at Manchester United, that's got to be a goal. You talked about Ahmed's chance, and the only thing that Liverpool could create was late runs from McAllister with that chance that he had, that Onana came up big and pulled a save. Second half, the game did open up. De Ligt, for me, had an absolute terrible game today for Manchester United, a game that he would like to forget real quickly because he just wasn't quite there. And when you look at it, the benchmark, I think that's what you've got to look at. We talk about the project of Ruben Amorim. To come to this game, a lot of people thought it's just going to be a simple, easy job for Liverpool. They're going to get the result, and Manchester United's misfortune is going to continue. That's the type of performance they need. That's the benchmark now they need to work off. They were hard to beat. They weren't easily beaten apart from individual errors, which is something that he has to do in his team selection now. So whether he changes De Ligt and starts Euro to say, now the shirt is yours, can you stay in the team? That's the manager's responsibility. But I felt that they had everything right and frustrated Liverpool.
Even the fighting spirit, because that's something that we haven't seen, has it, from Manchester
100%.
United? And that's what they wanted to see from the group.
100%. I think watching that as a neutral, you cannot be happy just to enjoy the game of football as it is, but also what you see from Manchester United and what Manchester United used to be about. Those players gave a glimpse of what potentially could be achieved under Ruben Amorim, and I think it's because of the fact that it's against Liverpool. That's where people can accept that they've set such high standards. Can they maintain it and do it now?
I think I'm going to need a neck brace after watching that game. For how end-to-end it was. Just constantly doing this, and neither team got control of the game. And we've credited Slot to come in and say, look, he's balanced out this Liverpool side, and it's not the club side that would go. And we've given a lot of credit to Trent and Robertson and how good they've been in the fullback positions, but they were poor today. So a lot of cheap giveaways. I think Van Dijk's face said it all. Every time they zoomed in on Van Dijk, he was shaking his head. He was yelling at his fullbacks. He was yelling at the guys in front of him. So as much as you want to give credit to Man United, and you absolutely should, because they were in so many good opportunities to win this game in one of the most difficult places to go in the world to get any points from Liverpool. Not many teams can do it. You have to look at Liverpool and say, what a poor performance from them.
Why was that? Was that just a blip, do you think? Did the weather have anything to do with it?
I wouldn't say, for me, I wouldn't say it's a poor performance for Liverpool. I think for me, it's Liverpool.
It wasn't their best,
it wasn't great, but they ran out of ideas, and you've got to give credit to a team making it difficult. Manchester United made it difficult. And also, let's not forget, this is one of the biggest kind of derbies, if you can call it, in world football. This is two of England's most decorated football clubs with fans worldwide. Whenever you play in these games, there's no guarantee, regardless of what form one or the other team is on. It's just that passion, and that's why Grella needed a neck brace, because the players get caught up in the moment, the atmosphere and what's going on, because they want to get the upper hand, and it's fun to watch. So for me, I would say you've probably been overcritical if you say it was a poor game from Liverpool, because they have stuck to their standards. I think today what I would say is they couldn't find the answer. They couldn't find the answer, and credit to Manchester United for how long they held on to. They made it difficult for Liverpool. They stifled them, and Jota coming on, maybe Jota should have come on earlier, in my opinion, and Núñez as well. But give credit to Manchester United. They showed character and fight, which is what we haven't seen for such a long period of time.
It was a statement point, wasn't it, for them? In terms of the title race, Grella, obviously Liverpool, they're 6 points clear still against Arsenal. Nottingham Forest, they have a game in hand against the Gunners, so they could actually catch them in terms of points. Is this making the title race more open, or is this still Liverpool's?
I think if Liverpool goes 9 points clear and they win the game in hand against Arsenal, I think you'd have to put everything you have on Liverpool.
9 points, is that enough? Just past Christmas?
Yes,
it is.
It's 9 points because if it was Liverpool chasing, let's say, Chelsea, a younger squad, an inexperienced squad, new manager in Maresca, then you could say, okay, maybe it's possible. It's a team that's well drilled, knows what they want to do. But these other teams are chasing Liverpool. I think Liverpool is still one of the best teams in the world. Today there was something put in front of them, a Man United side that's still trying to figure things out, that still had nothing to lose, that wanted to fight. And I think for Liverpool, it was almost like they were so excited to go and dominate this match. And there's a big chance in the beginning of the game that Onana makes a massive save, and that starts to change it. And the other moments that, when I think about the sloppiness of the team, Robertson has the ball late in the game, and he just bounces one with the conditions on the pitch. He bounces a 10-yard ball that it's totally unnecessary. He bounces it into I forget who was going to pick it up on the sideline. Bounces it, miscontrol, goes out of play. That kills momentum. That kills drives. And the 2 goals as well come from giveaways. Trent just plays it up the pitch into Man United. They go 2 passes. They're so unorganized at the back. So It was unlike Liverpool, but I think it was also realistic to expect because they've been so good. It was subpar from the standards they've set so far with Slot has set.
I'll agree to that. Subpar from the standards that they've set, but I still feel that Liverpool have a hand on the trophy, but they don't have a grip. And I feel that there's still so many teams in the Premier League, because of how competitive it is, that can
Who's the
cause
closest
upsets.
contender? Arsenal?
I would say Arsenal's still the closest contender because they've got the experience, but they're suffering with injuries and other different
Forest?
things they've got to do. Nottingham Forest look fantastic. I think Forest are in there, and also think Chelsea are in there. But
brother, give
also,
them some love. They're
when you
fit.
take away those teams, you've still got the likes of Newcastle hitting form right now, and all these other clubs who. All these teams up top have to play one another. I still feel the title race is Liverpool's to lose, but I don't feel they have a full grip
even
on
that
it.
game in hand that they've got is against Everton, a Merseyside derby at Goodison as well. So
how many teams in the Premier League can put together now with, again, to agree to Nigel's point, to agree to your point, with the level that is in the Premier League right now, with the standards, with the energy, intensity
Liverpool
levels, the
have also
quality.
got the Champions League.
They've got the Champions League.
I understand.
There's also,
Forest and
there's
Chelsea.
You
also
need Liverpool to go on a Man City type of form, and you would need the teams below them to just go on a run where they'd win 10 in a row, 9 in a row.
It's
I don't
possible.
know
It's
if any of the
Manchester
teams
City have done that
are
before
that
in the second
complete.
half of the
The most
season.
complete team to me is Liverpool. I don't see
yes,
another
there's no, I'm not
complete team.
disputing that, but then there's still other teams who can upset the apple cart up top, and I think that's what it is. You've got to look at. And also, you've got to
long
remember, Liverpool going through a situation right now with 3 of their top players and contract situations. You look at Trent's performance today. That's going to be all over the papers about, he wants to go Real Madrid, and that psychological aspect of it can get into the dressing room, and that can get into the mentality of players dealing with all of that's going on as well.
Well, here's a look at the flag that the fans had out before the game. They want, obviously, their star players to be paid because they want them to stay. Give them Mo and Co their dough.
There you go.
If you are Liverpool and you're the higher ups there, which one of these is the priority if you had to rank them?
I would have to rank, for me personally, I would still go with Virgil van Dijk. I think Van Dijk for me is the priority.
Over Mo Salah?
I would go with Van Dijk. I think it is easier to get an attacking player in this generation of football.
Someone that's got over 10 goals, 10 assists before Christmas.
You just asked me a question. I just answered it. You didn't like my answer.
No, but I'm just saying the facts is Mo Salah's having the best season of his career, so that's not coming into consideration.
No problem whatsoever, because we've witnessed players in the past. Fernando Torres have an exceptional season at Liverpool, then go to Chelsea and couldn't hit a barnyard's door. So it can happen. There's no guarantee Mo Salah is going to have the same season having today, this year, next season. For me, when you talk about players like Virgil van Dijk, what he brings in football intelligence, defensively, reading danger and seeing danger, that's not something that's easily coached into players. We watch all the time, we laugh about people and the defending in the game. How do you defend like that? Defenders like Virgil van Dijk do not come around often and easily. When they brought Virgil van Dijk and got him finally into that Liverpool side, they win the Premier League title after how long? Because we talk about teams, best teams are built from a solid foundation moving forward. Players like him don't come around often.
He allows them also, Virgil van Dijk allows them to play the way they want to play. They are allowed to go, and the fullbacks are allowed to fire forward because of his balance, because of what he represents. He can play in a high line, he can play with a low line. So he is versatile. So it's hard to argue with Nigel there, but it also is much harder to score goals than it is to defend them. And so you have to look at that as well. I think the worry with Mo Salah is his age and how much he gets paid. And that's the problem.
But this could be a special year for them, couldn't it? If they got the contract sorted out and everything's happy. Or is it a tactic? Is Liverpool thinking you're playing so well now, let's draw out the negotiations?
And
that's exactly it. Liverpool are right to do that because he's playing well. His performances haven't dropped. He's playing at a high standard, high level. So from Liverpool's perspective, and you can tell that he wants to say. Mo Salah doesn't talk in how many years, and then now all of a sudden he wants to talk about a contract. So Liverpool know he wants to stay there, and now it's let's see if we can make the numbers work. But their hands are not tied behind their backs to make it work. But I always feel, like I said, Virgil van Dijk for me is the more important player. There's so many young players who have that athletic attribute that you could coach to become better. But to coach that into a defender to understand and see danger, that is not easy to do.
Also, we're just assuming that they can't keep both of them, right? There's a world that they can keep both of them.
Definitely. So. Okay, interesting stuff. Obviously, they've got the Carabao Cup to come midweek, and then the Champions League returns for Liverpool. But at Anfield, it finished 2-2 between Liverpool and Manchester United.